or Xeomin or whatever your preferred toxin is. Do you use all toxins? So I don't use Botox anymore, Botox brand. I use Dysport, Jeuveau. I have some Daxi. It's not my preferred, but my top two products, neuromodulators, are Dysport and Jeuveau. I will not be bringing on Latibo. That is the newest from Korea in the States. And but do you know how long the swelling stays when getting boobs done? Up to a year. Any surgical procedure is going to take up to a year to be like fully recovered. What about those neurotoxins going elsewhere in the body? Is that really safe? What do you mean by going elsewhere in the body, Arman? So Botox was invented for medical use. Majority of the things that we use in aesthetics are invented for medical use. So neurotoxins, neuromodulators going into the body were invented for the body, not for aesthetics. It was accidentally found that it helps improve wrinkles by Jean Carruthers and her husband, Dr. Carruthers. And they were injecting for blepharospasms, right? So they're doing blepharospasms. So they targeted the muscles around the eyes, so the orbicularis oculi muscle, as well as some of that levator muscle. And they targeted these, and then they noticed that, hey, it's like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Why are our patients looking younger? Why are their wrinkles disappeared? So then they started experimenting with the forehead, seeing if they inject it into the forehead, will it have the same effect? And sure enough, it did. So that's how it came about as far as aesthetic use. We only have aesthetically 23 years of data on it, but we have over, what year are we in? 2025? We have like 70 years of Botox use in the body. Don't they obviously disperse into the bloodstream doing the same thing? No. Long answer short, no. So you're asking if there will be systemic reactions. I'm not going to argue that there won't be systemic reactions. I've treated over 10,000 patients. I've never seen one. Knock on wood. I have friends and colleagues, and kind of grouping all of our patients together with, I would say, over hundreds of thousands of patients, and none of us have one single patient with iatrogenic botulinum poisoning. That's what you're referring to. It goes into the system and it obstructs breathing. People have difficulty swallowing, so on and so forth. So you inject here and you get paralysis here. It doesn't work that way. How do you know when to use Dysport and when to use Jeuveau? So my general rule of thumb is, if you have never had neuromodulators and you are starting treatments at a young age, let's say mid to late 20s, and there's only a couple lines that start creasing after a long night of wearing makeup. For this patient, I don't need the strength and paralysis of something like Botox brand or Dysport brand. I want something soft and natural like Jeuveau. So if you are Botox naive, meaning you don't have any comparison to Botox and Dysport, then in my practice, you're getting Jeuveau. That is your first and starter choice of neuromodulator. If you have been freezing your forehead into oblivion and you are used to tightness and heaviness, and that's what you associate to neuromodulators working, then you're getting the Dysport, and I'm not trying to convert you to use Jeuveau. I don't care to do that because you develop preferences. So if you like something, who the fuck am I to say, let's do something else? I'll bring up the conversation if you're ever looking for a more natural feel where you're not going to feel frozen. Your forehead's not going to feel heavy. You're not going to get that pressure then we're going with Jeuveau. But if you like that, if you are so used to that, you've been doing it for 20 years, I'm not even having that conversation. We're going Dysport all the way. Oh, wow. My pleasure. Wow. I really am so curious to know why my lives nurse discusses vasovagal response. Ask about medical aesthetics. Why? Okay, what in the hell? Okay. Oh my gosh, stop. I don't want to type anything. Oh no. Okay. Why do my lives get... What is this algorithm? Where are the ladies at? Where are all those nursing students I was talking about earlier? Anyway, it was nice chatting with y'all. I pop on the For You page and hear vasovagal. What about it? We have patients who vasovagal in our chairs when we are injecting them. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here. All right. Have a good night, everybody. PRX event is November 16th.